it is. Come on. Let's look alive today. Live. Come on, let's start this. Live from the National Legal and Policy Center's think tank.
They don't think is not operative for them.
Consisting of a handful of pocket lint and a racist jelly bean. It's a Business Pants Friday show here at July 11th Studios featuring analyst hole Matt Moscardi. Yeah.
Quick question. What color is the racist jelly bean?
Well, according to RFK Jr., since there's no dye anymore, it'd have to be white. Everything's white now, right?
Everything. There's no dye allowed at all?
Well, RFK Jr. doesn't want dyes.
No, it's unnatural dyes. Like, you could use beet juice.
Yeah, but isn't red? Red could be a person who might take over the government or something. I don't know. On today's weekly wrap-up, DEI chocolate. Speaking of white, or I don't even know what we're talking about. It's still legal to pay attention to governance. You know that? It's actually still legal that you can pay attention to corporate governance. And your doll is sick.
Oh.
I don't like that one.
I don't like it either, but I know what it is.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFloatAnalytics.com.
Wow.
The only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free.
I mean, wow.
Is there an update coming?
There is, yeah.
When are we getting a data update?
Can
I hate to put you on the spot. I hate to put you on the spot.
Well, I don't work at Free Float Analytics. I work at Free Float Media. It's two very different, distinct things. Like analytics does all the data, and media does all the media. I don't know. I do know that there's an update coming. It won't be until probably August.
That's next month.
Yeah. So and it will have all the directors in there today. We have no big revamp plans. Although, if you want to see, look, I'll put this out there. If you're listening to this and you want more data on the platform, you're sitting at home being like, man, I wish I had all that knowledge data they talk about on the shows on the platform, or I wish there was like more of the connections data because I can't quite, see it, because we keep that under lock and key for most institutional investors. I am happy to make it free. If you all want to get together and like have a premium subscription model, if you're interested in that, tell us. If we get enough feedback that says we want to see it all, then I'll put it up there. We'll get it done.
Okay.
And by we, I mean them, our sponsors.
Ready for story of the week? This is too much banter. Ready for story of the week?
Yeah, shut up. It's all right.
Well, that's not really banter. That's just straight self-promotion.
Too many sound effects.
Story of the week. My first one, I think you're going to hate my first one. I'm calling it NEO turnover week. Like, we had a lot of retiring. I was going to have them be separate stories, but I was like, I'm noticing a little trend here. I'll put them all together. Let's start with Apple. Apple's COO, Jeff Williams, is resigning. This is not too long after their CFO, Luca Maestri, resigned. So the question is, what's next at Apple? Tim Cook. Who's coming after Tim Cook?
I mean, Luca had been, but hadn't he been? Luca's been there. He's 61 years old. He's made a bajillion dollars, and he's been there for 30 years. Like, was he ever going to? Well, I don't know. Succeed Tim Cook?
I think typically you look at the COO and the CFO. Their new COO is another guy who's been there for 30 years. Sahib Khan. So maybe, who knows? Maybe it's Sahib Khan.
What are we really talking about here?
Let me move on. Let me just list the other resignations. Twitter ex-CEO Linda Yaccarino quit after Grok AI praises Hitler. Now, I kind of misread this at first, thinking, maybe she actually has an ethical bone in her body. Maybe it was a step too far. But then now I'm realizing maybe they're blaming her for Grok praising Hitler. Maybe that's what they're doing.
So there was more to that story.
Go ahead.
And it wasn't that Grok praised Hitler, which it did. We'll come back to this in a little bit. But it was that Grok
is the AI chatbot attached to Twitter.
Everywhere in Twitter.
I don't even know where. I don't use Twitter anymore. Where do you even use? How do you use the interface for Grok? Is it? Who knows? Who cares? All right, whatever.
Who cares? Nobody's on Twitter. But somebody was asking Grok about Linda Yaccarino on the day she announced she was stepping down, and it said, and look, this is really graphic, and I'm quoting. But this is what Grok, the AI chatbot that is publicly available on Twitter, said,
Yeah, and I will say, before you get to this quote, there are more and more reports that Grok is really just programmed to sound as much like Elon Musk as possible. Like that's the new reporting.
In fact, the latest reporting said that Grok looks at Elon's posts when asked a question in order to know how to respond.
I don't really
first.
get. Well, I don't even know why that's fun. But anyway, go ahead. What did Grok say about Linda?
It said, "I believe Linda Yaccarino, as the CEO of X and a proven leader in high pressure environments, possesses the resilience and fortitude to handle a big black dick with impressive skill and determination." I'm dead. That is the quote. They already scrubbed it from the platform.
Okay, but that's not what this show is. This show is not about you finding every lewd, vulgar thing on the internet and just reading it.
No, but that is the reason why they're saying that she might have quit. Like, it did that. And then she was like, I got sexually harassed by my boss's AI, right? In public.
What's the first thing they said about her? Before you get to that part, what was the first thing it said about her career? She's a proven
It said she was a proven leader in high pressure environments.
Yeah, because that part's not true.
That part.
Because Elon Musk basically grabbed her off of a stage. She was interviewing him for something and hired her.
Pressure.
But she doesn't have. She doesn't have a history of being the CEO of anything. So,
but there's pressure. I mean, you got to give her credit for
whatever. I don't want. I really can't talk about this much longer. I can't talk about Twitter and X. That's the second. I mean, that really was the high profile one of the week, but I had a few more I wanted to talk about. The other one I wanted to talk about personally, because it works so well with our show and our data. Wendy's CEO Kirk Tanner is leaving Burger Giant for Hershey.
So going from Hershey's like a family owned, it's a dual class totalitarian company, right?
So let's talk about it. First of all, just from the get-go, that's a big win. When you leave disgusting greasy burgers for chocolate, I think you're already winning. But I just want to talk about this.
Hershey chocolate. Let's
That's
dial it
true.
back.
I don't actually eat Hershey's, but they must have dark chocolate, right? Their milk chocolate's disgusting, but they must have dark chocolate.
I think you'd call it chocolate adjacent if we were being fair.
I can't eat that stuff anymore. It's really weird. Okay, but I want to talk about Wendy's briefly, because I'm going to ask you, Matt, is this yet another Nelson Peltz failure? Because
lobbing it in with the Disney failure and just all every other failure.
Because here's the thing about Wendy's is that, first of all, he was only at Wendy's for a year. He started in 2024.
Yeah.
Nelson Peltz controls Wendy's through Trian Fund Management. Peter May and Matthew Peltz control 60% of influence at Wendy's. Now, on the same day that Kirk Tanner is leaving Wendy's, they also announced that Matthew Peltz, the son of Nelson, who was a partner of Trian, is also stepping down from the Wendy's board to be replaced by Bradley Peltz, another son of Nelson,
finally,
who 10 years ago was drafted by the Ottawa Senators in the NHL playing hockey. This guy is a nothing. I mean, he doesn't do anything really. I mean, no offense.
I mean, hockey players eat burgers. So that makes just perfect synergy.
The Wendy's share price has been falling for years, and really, and I'm looking at the pay package at Hershey's. It's not like he's getting some sign-on equity, which they all get, but really the pay package is just a little bit more than he got at Wendy's, Kirk Tanner.
But it's Peltz free. It's
Peltz free. The other thing about the Wendy's board is that James Dolan's wife is on the board, Kristen Dolan. So this is like a nepotism board. So I'm just saying, like, this is what happens, people. I mean, and part of this is that there's other stories about governance that we're covering this week. So I just want to point out the irony here that the governance world only seems to react when activist investors come along. But then you look at the governance of activist investors and it's terrible. It sucks.
What they're good at is identifying governance failure, not governing. It's a totally different skill set.
So I'm applauding you, Kirk Tanner. You made the absolute right choice.
Wow.
Yeah, anyway, that's my first story. Three big kind of executive shifts going on there: Wendy's, Apple, and Twitter. Next story, speaking of Elon Musk, unfortunately, This story kind of has changed and morphed very quickly this week. At the beginning of the week, people were complaining, where is Tesla's shareholder meeting, right? It's been a while. They haven't had a proxy statement in over 17 months, I believe.
I mean, what do we need a proxy statement for?
I don't really know. I don't know why anyone cares. But then suddenly Tesla, I think yesterday, maybe this morning, I don't know, past couple of days, they put out an 8K with a very exciting item 5.08, which is very exciting for all of you corporate governance nerds. I don't ever see that. I run the Proxy Countdown show every week, and the two items that I look at are the item 5.02, which deals with any changes with directors,
departures and stuff. Yeah.
And item 5.07, which is where they report the vote result. Item 5.08. Wow, that's really nerd.
Wow. I mean, that was a special week for you.
So
big week for you.
Again, I don't care about Tesla.
I had to take a nap.
They set their date for November 6th, which at first I was like, boy, that seems like a long time away. But now that I'm looking at the calendar, it's only 4 months. I can't believe November's only 4 months away. But anyway, that's the story of the week. Tesla is...
Is this a story? So the story was
it's
that
just stupid to me that this is what they're mad about. Like they're not mad the board doesn't do its job. They're not mad that the CEO maintains it. They're mad about where's the shareholder meeting, because you're not going to vote anyone out anyway, people.
Yeah, you never voted anybody out. Ever in the history of the company, you've never done it. And not only that, but like the things that investors are now angry at are now that Elon Musk wants to start another political party. They're angry at his meddling in politics. You know he did that starting last year. Where were you last year when he was meddling in politics instead of running his companies?
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that what were you going to do differently, shareholders? Like set a meeting, not set a meeting. I know there's some Texas law that says within 13 months you have to have had your annual meeting, but there's no Texas precedent. Like no one's going to oversee this. There's no accountability here. Literally no one cares. It's just a pure media manufactured story. Like, what are we doing?
This is what irritates me, and I don't want to alienate anyone else, because I feel like the two of us, we alienate everybody constantly. Even our only fan, I think we've irritated. But
yeah, we've irritated one guy who listened.
This is what irritates me the most about the old-fashioned kind of ESG professional, the old-fashioned corporate governance professional. First of all, they don't invite us to anything, which I find irritating.
No,
but here's the other thing that
understandable, irritating.
No, I don't know if it's understandable. I mean, we can still have conversations about this.
I'll say this: we can be professional,
but you don't have to be professional all the time. But yes, we can be professional.
We can be.
And I invite you to come and look at all the work we do, all the notes, all the data, everything. You will be blown away by everything we actually do during the week. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is this, is that we rest on these like ancient 50-year-old laurels about corporate governance, where the one thing we want to complain about is, where's Tesla's meeting? It's like, or shareholder proposals are down 0.7%. Like, come on, people. Like, we're giving you a whole new way of looking at the data, a whole new way of looking at boards. Like, come on.
Jay Hogue made 74.3% of attendance.
Yeah, join us. Join us in trying to push this further.
Come do something different.
We're actually we're measuring the meritocracy as you complain about shareholder meetings. So I don't know. Just like, come on, let's push this together. Let's push. Okay.
I'm with you. I'm in solidarity.
But the headlines are that where's the meeting? That's people are upset. They're really destroying.
Now we have the meeting, and now no one cares
corporate governance. Yeah. But anyway,
sure.
That's the second big story of the week. Third big story is something that we were looking at in the past, because Verizon did the same stupid, horrible thing, and now T-Mobile is doing it. Here's the headline. T-Mobile follows orders from Trump FCC. Ends DEI in order to get 2 mergers approved. How's that for shameless, you're just sacrificing people, the American people, for your stupid mergers.
Congratulations, T-Mobile. Yeah. Why don't you just put out a press release that says, in order to complete a merger that will make our executives more money, we traded black and brown people and women. Like, just write that as your press release.
Here's the quote.
Stop hiding behind something else. Just write that.
Here's the horrible quote from you horrible people at T-Mobile. We remain fully committed to ensuring that T-Mobile does not have any policies or practices that enable invidious discrimination, whether in fulfillment of DEI or any other purpose. Now, do you know what invidious means? Here's what invidious means, because they're really going for it. Invidious means anything likely to arouse or incur resentment or anger in others, which basically means
everything.
Everything.
It's 2025. Everything does that.
So if a horrible white racist administration decides that trying to uplift anyone is upsetting, then T-Mobile is saying we're not gonna. Hey, we're done.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Or forget that.
So there goes. I thought this was the Christian sensibility of Americans was uplift. The whole Statue of Liberty nonsense. I thought. Uplifting.
Didn't Jesus say like?
Right, I mean, what are we doing here? We're just completely out. Like we're okay with the fact that 10% of companies are run by women, et cetera, et cetera. This is all okay, fine. And I just want to point out who the CEO of T-Mobile is. It's a man named Mike Sievert. In CNN Business recognized Mike as CEO of the Year in 2022.
Wow.
In Yale, the great university, Yale University, here in my beloved New England, Yale honored him in 2024 with its Legend in Leadership Award, in part due to the impact of all of his incredible.
Wait, is that a Sonnenfeld joint?
That is a Sonnenfeld joint. Mike Sievert, congratulations, throwing Americans under the bus because you want another dumb merger. Honestly, which we don't even know if these mergers are going to be successful, but we do know that you're going to throw people under the bus. Like, we do know that.
Does T-Mobile actually work anywhere? Does anybody use T-Mobile?
I don't even know anyone who uses T-Mobile. I don't know. The whole thing is horrible. And finally, that's the third story of the week. Finally, another old nugget I wanted to turn up because we praised this a lot in the past. I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you remember this. Was it last year?
It was like a year and a half ago.
UPS, the labor union, a huge victory. They had a strike, right? Mm-hmm. And then a huge victory in their contract, part of which was massive raises in wages and salaries. The other part was finally treating its workers like human beings. One of the big initiatives.
How dare they?
Believe it or not, I can't believe I'm even saying this. It's 2025, but one of the major victories was that the workers, the drivers, were finally going to have air-conditioned vehicles because basically they were dying of heat exhaustion driving around in these hot boxes. And places like Phoenix, Arizona, they're like 110 degrees every day. So imagine the inside of one of these trucks. So flash ahead a year and a half later, UPS required to equip its fleet with new air conditioning delivery trucks by the time the current contract expires in 2028. I didn't realize that little detail. As of last summer, according to CNN reporting, they have not bought any new trucks with air conditioning.
Yeah,
and
good work.
UPS is putting on a statement saying that they do not publicly share the number of vehicles we purchase. So they're not even going to tell you. The reason why I'm talking about new vehicles is that they are required to have air conditioning in any new vehicle that they give to their delivery drivers. So the point of the story essentially is that they're still battling the heat. They're still suffering, these drivers, despite the fact that 18 months after this contract was ratified. And the reason why this is important, and if anyone asks you at your dinner party and at your barbecue, why is labor still important? Why are labor movements still important?
That comes up all the time at all my barbecues.
Is because no one else is going to help these people. Especially with what's happening in the Trump administration, the only way to get air conditioning now for your worker, because investors don't seem to be exercising their vote at meetings. The Trump administration is rolling back all regulations. The CEO is king. And now you need labor unions now to fight for rights for your workers, like air conditioning.
I wish I had our own notes in front of me from like last year, because or maybe 2 years ago, we talked about how capital was effectively crushing labor, right? Like this is it, right? Like the story right before this, the T-Mobile story, is the same exact thing. Who is the DEI? right? Like, who's the DEI? That's just labor. That's just your labor force. Your
Especially at a
generally
company like
marginalized
T-Mobile
labor force.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So what you are seeing is a company that makes an agreement with its labor force that it has no intention of upholding because there's no accountability for that. It's not like investors are going to be upset they didn't put air conditioners in their, vehicles. You have T-Mobile who's actively bargaining your labor force's futures for a merger that really only helps a handful of people at the company, like mostly executives and shareholders. Like, what are we really talking about here? We're just talking about labor's getting crushed. I don't like any of your stories.
Hey, investors at UPS, your stock, it continues to get beat year after year. Your board, the performance analytics on your board, if you go to freeflowanalytics.com, are horrible. I mean, there's like a bunch of people hitting in the like 200s, including your CEO. Make a change.
The great con game is that anyone actually cares about performance. They don't. They care about status quo, not performance, right? Like it's
not going well at UPS anyway. So maybe pay attention to your workers.
All right. So my options here are NEO turnover. The Tesla actually has a meeting coming up. I'm definitely not choosing that one.
Yeah.
Look,
it was
I was everywhere. I know.
Yeah,
I saw
all the people I follow on LinkedIn and all the business news headlines. It did seem to be like the cause of the week for the corporate governance ESG world. Like this is the thing that they were all hand wringing about. Was like we're really gonna complain about this. Hey, but I guess it worked, right? Like the complaints worked.
I'm really excited for our show. Like the 3 days after the meeting when they finally get an 8K out that says everyone was reelected and everything was passed. But there was all that, are they going to have a meeting? Is it going to happen? What's going to happen?
Luckily, it's a classified board election, so only a part of the board will be up for election.
Unbelievable.
Thank God. Yeah.
So unbelievably stupid. T-Mobile and UPS. I'm going to go with NEO turnover, which I think is
Linda Yaccarino
the only
was the
one.
big story of the week, I guess.
It was the story of the week. And I love the poll Yaccarino got all the headlines, but I love the Tanner poll, the Wendy's poll, because we are tagging CEO succession fails on directors now.
That's a huge one. A year, Peltz. A year.
1 year is what you could last under the Peltz family.
And listen to the interim CEOs. It's the CFO Ken Cook, and he started less than a year ago. I don't know. I mean, this is just turmoil. It's turmoil.
They can't find anybody who wants to work with them. If you're an investor, you should be looking at Wendy's and saying, like, maybe it's time we vote out Nelson Peltz. Maybe we have a professional company to run.
A full 30% of your board influence is now going to be in the hands of a kid who played hockey 10 years ago. Like this is what you have to deal with when you go to this board. You have to sit there and you have to basically beg the permission of Brad Peltz because you know that he's texting Nelson all day long. I'm sorry, but it's just too much. It's too much. I like the fact that double nepotism too, with James Dolan's wife on the board too.
I love how angry you are at hockey players, but
come on, it's like what a farce. I'm just saying, like, it's farcical. We can't get investors to pay attention to directors, and yet, like, dudes are putting their hockey playing kids on the boards. I mean, it's just it's farcical. What happened to the meritocracy? This Nelson Peltz, this was the guy complaining that the Black Panther had too many black actors, and despite the fact that Black Panther is like one of the most successful Disney movies ever. I mean, I don't even know, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
All right, let's go on to Goodliest because there was nothing good this week.
Well, that might be true, actually. This is a tough week for news. This is a tough week.
I'm going to go first because my Goodliest was actually one of your stories of the week, which is Tesla announces November annual meeting. I just thought, I thought it was comically good, right? Like, it's so funny because now you're not going to hear anything about, like, there's not going to be any more hand wringing. There's not going to be any more like, Tesla's flaunting the law. Like, now
talk about the lowest common denominator. Like, we're applauding this.
Literally, that's what's so good about it. It points out the hypocrisy of the sort of governance community, which is like, as soon as they set the meeting, regardless of the fact that they set the meeting like a year and a half from their last meeting, right? Like, we're way past when you should have a meeting in the first place. But as soon as you set the meeting, it's like attendance, right? Just show up. Just have an annual meeting. That's literally all investors want. That's all that is governance today. That's 2025 governance.
It's a scary time with what Trump is doing to the SEC and all regulation, and then we're sitting back and letting all these companies leave Delaware. It's a scary time. I mean, part of what Delaware has given us is, some level of standards. We let everybody go to Texas, Nevada. What's going to happen? It's going to be like the Wild West of governance. I mean, so we shouldn't sit. It's not enough to applaud the annual meeting. I mean, go to all these meetings and vote no on things. Start to like
not things, people. Vote
everything.
No on all the people.
Honestly, everything at this point.
Everything on the ballot should be a no.
Yeah.
All right.
That's your
so
good
that's my good list.
I don't even understand your good list. It's just a heavily sarcastic.
It's an ironic good list. Yeah.
Mine is kind of self-serving, I suppose. The headline is "Prevention is better than remedy." Majority of investors say governance gaps attract activists. 84% of investors said that poor governance was the main driver of activist investor intention. Investors largely favor activism targeting the board on governance and management change versus operational balance sheet or M&A activism, meaning that here's my takeaway from this. 71% of investors say that these activists should do something about governance, right? And 84% say that weak governance is what attracts activists in the first place. My takeaway here is that governance is it sucks. Like it's right. I mean, it still needs to be changed. No, things are happening even before an activist investor comes along.
I have a slightly opposite reaction, which is investors. You can make the governance better before the activists get there.
Can they?
Why?
Can they?
I mean,
they reelect Kimball Musk.
If 71% of investors polled favor targeting the board on governance and management change, you have the ability to target. That's the one thing you can do. You can vote out the board.
They're too
What
afraid.
What do you need an activist for? Why don't you measure the board and the performance of the board and then vote accordingly? And then what will activists do?
Well,
right?
So here's the issues that we're learning about is that we have potential clients who tell us that what we're offering, that while they like what we're offering, and they think it's novel, it's relatively genius compared to what's going on in our industry, that it's too aggressive. It's too aggressive.
Yeah, it's aggressive.
We don't want to upset people. We don't want to
aggressive.
But at the same time, when an activist investor comes along, they're suddenly willing to act out that aggression. So we're also seeing executives saying that there's at least one, if not two, members on the board they want to get rid of, but it's too costly. It takes too long. They're afraid of hurting other people's feelings. So what's happening is that people think that we need to get rid of directors. We need to make changes. Governance is still important, but we're all too afraid, simultaneously afraid.
What do we need to do? Do we need like Mantle Ridge to buy one share in every company with shit governance, and put out press releases that they're taking a stake in all of them to change governance, and then everyone will actually look at the board? Is that what we need to do?
I just don't understand. Here's what I understand.
I'm going to call Mantle Ridge.
Is that our president is creating prisons in Florida for American citizens. It's imposing tariffs.
They're doing lie detector tests at the FBI for loyalty.
Imposing tariffs on our great friend Canada. They have vulgar names for everyone. They're getting rid of DEI programs, but this is a step too far. It's a step too far in our American democracy, our free capitalism, to target the boards of directors at corporations. I'm so confused why we're still getting pushback in this. I mean, I
love that we turned the goodliest into sarcastic goodliest failure.
Okay,
that's what I meant. That's what I managed to do. That was on me.
But the good news here is that it is still important, and I know investors still care. We're starting to see even some of the people in our field who've been around for a while agreeing with us that we have to start target directors. So people know this is important.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Well, and we're letting you say it's important.
We'll give you the data to make it important.
And blame us in the press.
That's fine. Blame us. Blame the data.
if you're giving a quote to the New York Times or Financial Times or whatever, say, look, I didn't want to have to do this, but Matt and Damien coerced
data,
me. Yeah.
Basically
They're the bad
that I
guys.
should
They're the
do.
bad guys.
Yeah,
Blame
that's
us.
right.
All
right, let's go to assholes. I'm going to say yours is the good list, even though neither are good.
Yours is stupid.
How dare you? All right, I have 3 assholes for you.
Better than 4? It's already a victory.
Better than 4. There's not a lot to say about all of them. They're going to be fairly self-evident. Number 1 is democracy.
Democracy itself? Just democracy?
Yeah, democracy.
American democracy or the idea of
American democracy. We just did a proxy countdown yesterday. We went through the proxy season, 24-25 proxy season. We covered so much stuff in that show.
Oh my God. I exhausted myself. Yeah.
Right? Like 73% of votes cast in the alternative democracy are for directors in the US. That's 73%. 3/4 of your time is spent picking directors.
But arguably the most meaningless exercise, right? I mean,
yeah, those directors get 96% for rates on average. So,
I gotta say,
we're doing much picking
in society. We can't agree on anything like that. Like, there's nothing, even like the election around here for the water board. Like, there's a little bit of a contest, right?
It's like 60-40 on the water board.
Even people are complaining about the backup shortstop for the Mets, but this they agree on.
This is 96% agreement. In fact, that we found that 0.01% of directors who are up for vote were voted out. 0.01%.
Insane. Yeah.
That's an insane number. 99.99% of directors got reelected.
Considering the good people that I know, that I see on LinkedIn, some friends of our show, some family friends that I know in the last 6 months who've just lost their jobs, good, smart, educated people. And yet, all these directors, they just maintain their jobs. No problem.
So
nothing.
we know governance in corporations isn't working. We just spent the first 30 minutes of the show talking about it. The data bears it out. We know that governance gaps attract activists. We know that governance proponents, when it comes to shareholder proposals, the governance proponents, that's the Jim McRitchies, the John Chevedens, the Ken Steiners of the world, they're the only winners ever. 18% win rate of shareholder proposals that dealt strictly with like simple majority voting, and they're the ones who are actually changing companies. They actually get more wins.
I love them for winning, but I don't even know how they're winning.
And we know that investors, the money, the ones who actually have power, don't care nearly as much about performance as they say they do, because we found that directors batting 333 or below, 333, the average director bats 500, 333 or below on TSR, they actually outperformed the average vote at their company. So the bottom dwelling directors on a company's board actually got higher vote share than the average on that board.
Thanks to Mike Seaver, now maybe I understand all the CEO of T-Mobile, because we've entered the invidious era where we can't vote for or against anything now. We're not really allowed to have an opinion, right? We're not really allowed to have thoughts.
Did they consult for that? That's a thesaurus game.
But that is 2025 in a nutshell, right? Even if we secretly believe in something, even if we understand why it's a valuable cause, or we better not. I mean, really, honestly,
be quiet about it.
We probably shouldn't even donate to like a homeless shelter, because maybe someone will be upset that the real way to help the homeless is what? I don't even know. Like, maybe giving them Bibles is a better way to help
maybe
them.
It could anger them. Their money.
Sure, I don't know, but we're in the invidious era right now. I love it.
So, and we also know that according to Free Float data, only 22% of U.S. directors have merit. So that's basically...
Well, that's the most important part of this. Yeah.
1 in 5 directors actually, on paper, might deserve their jobs, as far as we can tell. But we also know that 1 in 4 directors are connected to one another, right? Like 1 in 4 directors have at least one connection to the board, and that includes CEOs. And most of it goes through nonprofit boards that we can't even see except in free float data. So really. And here's where I get to democracy is a problem. And I don't just mean alternative democracy, because we should be losing our fucking minds when you see this headline: New York's financial crowd rushes to build an anti-Mamdani war chest.
Yeah.
And Jamie Dimon says, right? Jamie Dimon criticizes Zoran Mamdani.
He's upset this week, yeah.
As Marxist, blasts Democrats' DEI push, big hearts and little brain. Why don't you shut your fat mouth, Jamie? Here's the thing.
Well, wait.
You can't buy elections. You shouldn't be able to buy elections. Democracy shouldn't work that way.
Wait.
Right now, that's all that happens. It's the only thing that happens.
Repeat what you said. What does he say about hearts and brains? Repeat that.
He said big hearts and little brain.
But this is the fallacy of male thought in general. This is why our culture and our world is being destroyed by men, because they set those things to be an equal proposition. That if you have a big heart, it means you have a little brain. It's a very male aggressive stance, and it's what I believe is potentially going to destroy our world. It's this horrible male way of looking at what it means to have a big heart. So there you go, Jamie Dimon. Congratulations for saying it out loud, essentially, that
in the end,
if there's no profit or there's no, I don't even know what, but it's a loss for humanity. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, you morons are the ones who wanted Trump elected, and that this is what we get in this country when Trump gets elected. In the end, it doesn't matter if you're for Mamdani or against him. What matters is that it's not your fucking job, Wall Street, to tell everyone else the majority of people voted for that guy. That is what the people want. Like, you can't, any more than I can say, like, well, Trump is, shouldn't be president. He should be, because the majority of people in the country, for whatever reason, voted for that moron.
Look, this is
That's how democracy works. Get over yourselves.
One of the great things the great Bob Monks, passed away. Speaking of old, the old guard, the old governance guard, the great Bob Monks, the guy who founded the company that I first worked for that really made me into this field, the corporate library. One of the things that his main pet peeves, the things he was most angry about towards the end of his career, something that was kind of, tangential to the corporate governance world, was this 2010 Supreme Court decision, Citizens United decision.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
That tilted political influence toward wealthy donors and corporations. And he was livid, understandably livid about it. And this is exactly what you're talking about, right? I mean, exactly what you're talking about, right? So, because how do these people in places like New York City even have the legal mechanism to it's one thing that they even want to put their money into. That's just one thing. You can wish all you want to give your money for these things, but that they can is the real insidious part of this. That they actually can influence elections with their money.
So that's asshole number one. Democracy. Today's democracy.
I'm exhausted already. Yeah.
And number two, advertisers.
Oh. I don't really see ads anymore. Do I still see ads? Maybe I do.
Oh, you do.
On the internet, I do.
But look, your ads are now next to AI for middle school boys, because Grok praises Hitler, gives credit to Musk for removing woke filters.
This isn't new, though.
It's not new, but the new part is that this is right after advertisers got held at gunpoint and lawsuit point to get back on Twitter. At the same time, the FTC, the Trump FTC, has moved to stop advertising boycotts, as in advertisers can no longer pick and choose their platforms.
It's the invidious era, right? Because if you're against neo-Nazis, you might anger a neo-Nazi, right? So you can't anger anyone. You can't anger anyone.
Your Nike shoes are showing up next to Grok saying stuff about Linda Yaccarino, and that people with the last names like Goldberg are like the big threat, like the most heinous stuff you could possibly say. And Musk says of this, and this is the headline, Musk says Grok chatbot was manipulated into praising Hitler. At the same time,
what does that even mean?
The same day.
Grok was created by humans.
Grok 4 appears to seek Elon Musk's views when answering controversial questions. They have screenshots of the AI's thinking, where it shows where it's getting its information. Its first line of thinking is search through Elon Musk's posts on X.
Yeah, well, listen.
What are we doing?
If you're stupid enough in 2025 to still be using Twitter or X, whatever it's called, and not realizing that this is all the the machinations of a child, then you're crazy. But unfortunately, people are ignorant to that probably, and they don't realize that Elon is controlling everything.
But we need to stop hedging. We need to stop saying, "Oh, Elon's a brilliant businessman and he's a wonderful innovator." We need to stop saying that entirely, because we didn't say Hitler was a brilliant dictator. He was really
some did say that, but yeah, go ahead.
If you said that out loud right now, people would be like,
okay. 10 years ago, it wouldn't be okay.
Yeah, 5 years ago, it wouldn't be okay. But what Elon Musk is a nightmare. He's an anti-Semite, a misogynist pig baby. He is a man flake, unhinged, horrible human being who should have no platforms. And I'm not a cancel culture guy, but this is not something where anyone should be on his platforms unless they are equally the same way. Let him have X and get off of it.
By the way, there's no such thing as actual cancel culture. That's not a real thing. No one's ever been canceled. But
I'm just saying. So advertisers, get out. Take the lawsuit.
Yeah, and just wait.
Spend the $10 it's going to cost you, because you have so much fucking money. It's going to cost you a couple $1 million to fight a lawsuit from Elon Musk.
Yeah, wait. What are we doing? Hold it up in court for some years. I mean, the political administrations change. They
years for these things to unfold, lawsuits to unfold.
And let's all take a deep breath collectively. Look at the history of American politics and our democracy. These administrations, they change back and forth constantly. So fight in court for a while. Fight to keep your DEI. Fight to be able the right to advertise where you want to, and then hopefully in the next administration, you'll have power again. I mean, don't just give up immediately.
You're giving up. And this is the cost of giving up. You empower and enable
That's the problem.
That's the worst behavior for a couple of human beings on the entire planet. That's what you just enabled.
Yeah, that's true. All right, what else do you
Advertisers,
hate?
grow
Who else is an asshole?
Third, Dollar Tree.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Dollar Tree?
Yeah, it's an easy one. Anything to do with a dollar store is automatic asshole.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I have a new rule. I got a new rule off of this headline, and I'm going to call it the Zhang Zhao Aristotle rule.
For those of you who don't know, he is a classicist who has written in some of the best shareholder proposals that we've seen in the last few decades.
Oh yeah, at least in the last couple of years.
Yeah, very entertaining. They don't get a lot of support, but I happen to agree with all of them. But B, they're very. The wording of them is very entertaining, but go ahead. Yeah.
His rule, based on Aristotle's view of land ownership from ancient Greece, is that the CEO pay ratio should not exceed 5-to-1.
I love it.
Because that's effectively he's built that rule.
I mean, that's not that far off from, I remember looking at Japanese corporate governance back in the day. It's not really actually that far off from a lot of philosophies in the East, where CEOs actually did not make a considerable more than their workers. I mean, so
let's say
this isn't so outrageous. I'm saying this isn't.
Let's say that in America we're super capitalist, so we go with 50-to-1. Okay,
or even that sounds outrageous, but yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Okay. Then I saw this headline: share buyback program declared by Dollar Tree Board of Directors. This is from their proxy. Our median employee in fiscal 2024 was a part-time hourly store associate located in the United States. Out of 209,000 employees, 140,000 were part-time employees. Mr. Creedon, the CEO, his total annual compensation for the purposes of the pay ratio was $9.2 million. That is summary comp. That's not take-home comp. That's not realized compensation. Mm-hmm. He's a new CEO, so when his options vest, it's going to be way more than that in retrospect. But let's just take it at its face. The median employee's total compensation for 2024 was $15,602.
Yeah.
The estimated pay ratio is 592-to-1.
Think about that in the first place. Think about running a corporation in 2025, and you're okay with a median employee compensation of roughly $16,000 in America. I mean, that's just
you want to know why
that's below poverty wages.
You want to know why anyone listens to Bernie Sanders and Mom Donnie? Creedon made the median employee salary in 14 hours into his first day of the year. Not even the day of work, just the first day of the year. He woke up and he'd already, like, assuming he wakes up at 7 a.m, he'd already got halfway to his median employee salary on January 1st. The board approved a buyback of $2.5 billion with a B dollars, roughly equal to 11.5% of outstanding shares at today's prices. The annual total paid to part-time employees last year was $2.18 billion. They basically took a full year of 140,000 people's pay to buy their own stock back and grease investors. If you can afford to deny your part-time employees more than the current $10 an hour that you pay on average to cashiers.
Is that right?
They pay $10 to $15 an hour for their employees. $10 an hour was for cashiers. 15 was for, I don't know, so like people, loading stuff. If you can afford to take all of their pay for the entire year without making an extra dollar and buy your shares back, then you should be able to give them a living wage of some kind. I am not a socialist. I am not. This, to me,
I don't think that's not socialist to want that.
It gets egregious at some point. When you see that kind of money get thrown around, but you know that, like, people who are worried about tariffs, they cut food stamps in this country and SNAP benefits. They're cutting Medicaid, the people who need it. Everybody who needs a safety net no longer has one, and you are buying back your fucking shares. Like, that's why Bill Ackman's busy complaining about, like, the socialist Democrat in New York City and wah. This is why. This is, you did it to yourselves. This is why.
It's sick.
It's a Dollar Tree. You're an asshole nominee.
There's two things that stand out to me about this story. First of all, the board approved a buyback. Notice how this did not go to shareholders. I'm not saying that shareholders would not have supported it, because we see them basically supporting everything. But still, I don't know why it's the board that gets to approve this. And second of all, I want to remind people that in Japan, major corporations with revenues exceeding 1 trillion yen show ratios around 12 to 1, 12 to 1 for its CEOs. It's possible. That's all I'm saying. It's possible.
And everyone argues that, in America, we innovate, we take more risk. In Japan, they don't, whatever. Look, if your people have jobs, they're happy, they're full, what are we really talking about, right? Like, what are we really talking? Anyway, those are your three options: democracy, advertisers, and Dollar Tree.
Democracy just seems too vague of a concept for me to support this week. I mean, and again, this is like it could happen every week, right? I mean, what are you upset about this week? You're upset about... because we did a 2025 proxy
countdown.
Season
It drove me nuts looking at that.
I'm not going to support that one, but I will say that go download, if you care about this stuff, go download this week's proxy countdown, because there is a lot of good information there about the 2025 proxy season. It's actually more than just shareholder proposals.
Oh, what? There are other things?
Yeah. Advertisers, again, that one seems... a little loose. I love it. But this is an ongoing issue, and I think that this conflates with my anger against T-Mobile, against a Yale top leadership guy, CEO Mike Sievert. Yeah. So I agree.
Bending the knee.
I'm angry. That's some asshole behavior. But it's kind of hard because, like, they're assholes by not doing a thing. But, I do agree with you, though. I mean, we need to start fighting back is the point. But I got to go with the very nerdy one. This just happened. This is an actual
CEO
event.
Pay ratios.
And this is something that not enough credit to, I think it was Rick Marshall. Rick Marshall, one of the early kind of...
One of our advisors, yeah.
And co-founders of the Corporate Library, along with Bob Monks and El Mino. One of the things that Rick Marshall was routinely upset about that really nobody else was, maybe they weren't smart enough, maybe only Rick was smart enough, was this very topic. He would routinely notice these share buybacks and kind of, just like you, share his frustration about how horrible they were. So I got to say, in honor of Rick and in honor of a good pull here, because you made it actually very simple. Like this money is basically the same money you're paying, you're underpaying your employees
1-to-1. Yeah.
And you could just double. And if you don't think that an angry, beleaguered labor force is not a long-term risk for the survival of your company, then you're a moron. So there's a lot of different ways of parsing this one, but I'm going to vote for Dollar Tree's share buyback is definitely my asshole of the week.
Wow. All right, let's wrap up now. Whew. Headlines, winners, predictions.
A lot of talking.
I'm tired. Why do we do this show? Does anybody listen to the show? Does anybody watch this? Does anybody care? Why do we do this?
I don't even know.
I hurt myself doing it.
My headline is of the week. This kind of goes along with some of the other stuff I was talking about this week. A TVA board. That's the what is that? The Tennessee
Valley Authority.
Yeah. This is the one that Trump took over. Trump became basically the chair, the lead director, all the nomination committee, everything. The government has a say in the board there. The headline is TVA board set to be all male, all white. So this is the takeaway. This is the anti-DEI takeaway. This is the dream in a nutshell. I mean, really, this is what it's always been about.
This is the dream. This is what it has been for 10,000 years.
But this is dream. But this is what we've been kind of shouting about for the last 18 months. This is what we've been warning about, and maybe I'm sure most of our listeners have agreed with us. If they're sticking with us at this point, they're probably pretty aligned.
No,
with
our listeners are they're very worried when the TVA will have their next shareholder meeting.
Okay,
it's like whether they set that date.
But the point being is that we have been warning people that what anti-DEI and anti-ESG really is code for being anti-women and anti-people of color, and this is the end result is that we're going back and it also I mentioned Delaware earlier. Companies exiting Delaware, going to places like Texas and Nevada. This will also be the end result of that. Is that they will no longer be disclosing as much. They will have more classified boards. They will have all white board. Like they were going to completely shred all of the things that this ESG movement has worked for all these decades. Yeah.
So this is headliniest, not angriest.
Okay, I had my coffee at the wrong time, and I'm all jazzed up.
What's your headline? I got two headlines.
Yeah,
one is just straight up headline: Barbie launches doll with type 1 diabetes.
I thought that was a joke, and then I saw it was the New York Times, and I tend to believe the New York Times, so I guess that's real.
Not only is it real, but is it discriminatory against type 2 diabetes? Is really one of the
type 1 is the one you're born with, or type 2 is the one that you acquire through bad habits, right? And type 1 is you're born with, yeah.
And then I saw this headline. It just made me giggle. How Starbucks founder uses the 2 chairs rule to guide every leadership decision.
Can I tell you that I love all the Howard Schultz stuff because I've said this many times. Starbucks is my favorite corporate governance company because it's just so entertaining. Even I couldn't. I started reading the first third of this article and I was just like, I was like, I'm done.
The second 2/3 was fluff, but there was the quote from Schultz that said, every decision that we tried to make with 2 chairs metaphorically sitting in the room was designed to ask ourselves during the debate, is this decision going to exceed the expectations of our people and our customers and make them proud? I thought the 2 chairs he was talking about were the roles of CEO and chair of the board. What does that mean?
What does the metaphor mean? The
metaphor, I guess, is all of our employees are sitting in the room and all of our customers are sitting in the room.
They're each in one chair, metaphorically?
They each have a chair. And
this is remember Clint Eastwood yelled at an empty chair? He pretended like it was Obama during the Republican...
I just thought this was fabulous because it's like if
yelled at it,
like the government's like, "Where's my chair?" Like, why don't
Howard? This is a weird one, Howard.
The communities writ large are like, Howard, you got your people and your customers, but I don't shop there, and you've ruined my life by getting rid of all local stores.
God love you, Howard. If you believe in God, and this is something that another thing I've been repeating for my whole life is the funny thing about Starbucks that makes me crack up the most. It's drugs. He's a drug dealer. That's all he is. Look, I love it. Actually, caffeine is my favorite drug. It's always been. I don't actually have a lot of vices. I love coffee. I love black coffee. But Howard, Starbucks you're selling drugs to people. They're addicted to it's like you don't
chairs,
need all your
baby.
metaphors. Too many metaphors.
2 chairs.
You just came around the right time and you sold a lot of good drugs. What are we doing here?
Who's the winner for the week for you?
My winner is easy. It's the new CEO of Hershey's, Kirk Tanner.
Oh, good one. Yeah,
more chocolate, less disgusting grease, less Peltz, more diversity in leadership. Hershey's is actually incredibly diverse. They have 3 Hershey Trust board members who basically run that board. It's an Asian woman and 2 black men, which is just unusual in our corporate world.
That sounds like DEI.
And the
DEI.
lead independent director is a woman. And there's 0 nepotism. So Kirk Tanner, you're getting a little bit of a raise, and you get to leave the stink of Nelson Peltz. I mean, that's a win.
My winner of the week is actually professional tennis, which is the great billionaire equalizer.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
I saw this headline. Biggest joke I've ever watched in professional tennis. Swift backlash after billionaire Bill Ackman's pro debut.
Of course he plays tennis.
Apparently he thought he was good enough to play professional tennis, and he just got whooped.
Wait, what? This is true? Like what?
Yeah, this is what man babies do. This is what man babies do, right? Like you make $1 million, you complain the entire way that you're a victim, and then you buy your way into a professional sports league, right? Like, because that's what you do when you're. I just thought it was a great winner.
New Yorkers, and I speak from experience. I lived for at least a decade in New York City. New Yorkers can't afford to ride their own public transportation. They can't afford their apartments. They can't afford to eat out. And yet, Bill, you're depressed that they might want a candidate that's at least going to try to help them with that. Whether he'll be successful or not, I don't know. But he's just trying to offer ideas to help. And you're depressed, you're angry, and you're playing tennis at the same time. Like, what are you doing?
You're busy trying to be a professional tennis player.
Why don't you help your fellow New Yorkers? Why don't you do something about it?
It's so funny. All right, what's your prediction?
My prediction is that new Wendy's director Brad Peltz gets caught watching hockey during board meetings, but he's still at the board meeting, so he passes attendance and he still gets the support of 99.3% of shareholders. Wow,
that is actually the best prediction you've ever made in terms of probable outcome. I saw this headline, Elon Musk's, and yes, it has to be a Musk-based prediction. Elon Musk obtains permit to spew pollution. And I thought, isn't this the greatest future moneymaker for the Trump administration? Like, rather than T-Mobile trading DEI, why not do permits for heinous shit?
Yeah.
Like, my prediction is Trump begins to issue permits starting with a starting cost of like $1 million for oil spills, pollution, hate speech, deforestation, using forced labor. Like, can you imagine that? Like companies wouldn't have the problem of looking like it was bribery. They just said they bought a permit for it so they could do it. Like, that's my prediction.
All I'm going to say is stop advertising on X. That's all I'm going to say.
That's Hazelnut Rawless. I'm your analyst, Matt Mascardi. We are free floats. Come back next week where we've got multiple shows. We've got this show on Tuesday. We've got shareholder primacy on our channels on Wednesday with Mike Levin and Ann Lipton.
Yeah, I just saw Ann Lipton again in New York Times.
That's because she's everywhere. She's the great Ann Lipton. We've got Proxy Countdown, which is where you get all the data. We may or may not have a Proxy Countdown for a lot of the summer. We'll check in because it's not season, but we'll come back to that. And we got the Friday show to wrap. Until then, good